The 5 things I wish I knew about sales in my 20s. Welcome back to Connected Sales, everyone. I'm Edison. Ever wish you could turn back the clock and go back in time with all your knowledge and wisdom and experience and then apply it to being, living, and selling at the age of 20? Well, today here in Connected Sales, let's just do that so I can give you value that perhaps can elevate where you are right now. Isn't that so amazing about life? Older, wiser people, mentors, parents, grandparents, assisting us to be better, to live a better way, right? To get rid of the struggles that we had 10, 20, 50 years ago. If you don't know, I'm a green, a melancholic, and a red, a choleric, as far as personalities. And what this really means is that greens and reds hold on to regrets and wishes longer than the other two personalities. As a green, I'm more meticulous and persistent. And then as a red, I'm more straightforward and direct and goal oriented. Often, if you're in a conversation with a green, you'll hear them say, I should have, I wish, remember. Right? Things like that. And today, I'm sort of tapping into the regrets of not having these 5 things in my 20s. I'm going to give you the first one right now. Number 1, connecting means more than closing deals. Going back to my factory and golf days with Nunzio, if I could go back to all the relationships that ended on a bad note and it ended with arguing over like what we refer to as currency and monetary holdings. On a few occasions, I remember being on a golf course at 5 a.m. with Nunzio and arguing and yelling at his automobile prospects, only months later seeing another proposal that Nunzio had to reject, all because of haggling, bartering. Battling objections and rebuttals, money, accounts, years of manufacturing and assemblies, all gone because of the fight of what one person wants versus what the other person needs. The gym industry was no different, right? Selling high pressure contracts to juiced up anabolic weightlifters, arguments, bounce checks, non payments, physical threats, all left with both sides hurt, bitter, and separated for life. And really, what that means is for family and friends, if we were to bump into that person 3 years or 5 years down the road, there's not one chance, there's no chance at all of opening any relationship, whether it's business, whether it's hobbies, whether it's sports, or any resources, or like anything else that could like manifest or create. So we call this like burnt bridge for life. And not only did we burn that bridge, but we burned the bridge for their significant others, their family, their friends, things like that. So we burned a bridge. What do we do instead? We build bridges together. And that's what we do in connected sales. We try to build bridges together. So when that client or prospect, 6 months from now, they're thinking about it, they choose you, right? As far as just building bridges. In my early days, I was laser focused on closing deals. I mean, oh my goodness, was I, right? I was green and a red, right? You're just laser focused. It was gym sales, yearly goals. 2 centers wanted to expand and open in new cities, so I was hired on there at their facilities. Bank mortgages, loan funding, commercial mortgage. I thought that was the measure of success in my 20s. And as a green and a red, you're analytical and you're driven, right? This would be perfect for the sales industry, right? But I soon realized that like 4 or 5 hours of commutes in Los Angeles and Orange County and bumper to bumper traffic, working till 9 or 10 p.m., working 7 days a week. It's just a burnt out cycle waiting to happen. Now, after meeting Bob in Los Angeles, I started to shift and change. Building strong relationships with clients is far more important when you genuinely care about your clients and their needs. And they become more than just transactions. They become partners, building bridges together instead of burning bridges, right? Building instead of For me, going back that many years, bank mortgages sales departments were very, very negative. They were pushy. Everyone was always sick. It was very quota driven. They had numbers and stats. They would fire people left and right because you didn't meet those quotas. So it was very, very like driven. And I remember about like 6 or 7 other sales agents that I work with had such differences in their processes, their way of doing things, how they wanted things done. They just came off like really brass, pushy. We'd say argumentative, non-understanding. And then I started asking questions and sort of dialing in to their likes, their hobbies, and their family. What did they enjoy? Were they married? Did they have kids? Weekend activities, connecting. Years later, 2 of those agents moved to San Francisco to start their own business, and sure enough, reached out to me to offer me a position. What's on the other side of that tension and that separation that can blossom into miracles years later? Once we connect, communicate, and close, friendships. I decided to offer you a free gift, absolutely free. Now, I tell you all the time about how to close more sales without any objections or rebuttals. But how am I going to tell you about this and not provide the resources for you? There's so many questions people have online about sales. How do I become more confident? What can I do to close better? What do I have to do to get out of this rejection rut? How come I'm so bad at sales? What if I had a new pitch? Will I still fail? When are my sales gonna turn around for me? Why do I feel miserable every time I start asking for money? Who can I reach out to that'll help me close better? Should I quit my sales altogether? Why am I a failure? I don't feel comfortable in face-to-face or Zoom sales calls. Where did my lack of confidence in my own product stem from? Why do I let fear and procrastination control the sale? How come I doubt myself and my money earnings? Why do I have a ton of appointments and I lost all the sales? I found another sale. Now what? I love my products and my own courses. I just hate selling. How do I take my brain out of it? How do I dial into the heart for more natural closing sales? You see what I'm saying? So I decided to create a free training and give it to you absolutely free that you could utilize so you can learn how to connect, communicate, and close more sales without any objections or rebuttals so you can reach financial freedom. And how cool is this? To finally ditch the cold, sleazy, memorized scripts and start selling with the heart. Happier, deeper, more naturally with connected sales. Click the link below to get it free. My heartfelt gift to you. Number 2, building a personal brand. If I would have built my own personal brand back in the 80s and 90s, where I would have been right now. And if I could have had my own personal brand in my 20s, it would have been insurmountable. 19 years of working for somebody else, 19 years of being a yes man, having a no say in decisions, not even seeing commissions checks, not even getting paid what I was working 7 days a week, driving hours and hours through traffic. Now, this is Los Angeles. 3 million people when I lived there, right? Bumper to bumper traffic. What the people used to joke around as is a parking lot, right? You go there, there's 5 or 6 lanes, and they're all like bumper to bumper, just to get to a job that you hated. They had no passion for. You weren't even given any benefits, or you weren't even giving any missions or bonuses for all the hours you were putting in with. Arguing with owners, managers, and then quitting. And the following week, my family depended on the income that I was bringing in, right? I've taken jobs and contracts I didn't want to take. People that were toxic and unhealthy, destructive emotionally, all to pay the bills. And because I work for someone else, they were calling the shots. Not a care in the world. Yes, personal brand would have been a life changer. To have that coach or that mentor or that business friend that would have told me, get a business card. I don't care what you do, get a business card. Get a website, right? Websites just started in the 90s. Throw your small little money from your paychecks, just a small little amount into ads in newspapers, in a magazine. Businesses could hire me and my own company. And it would be my brand, my decision, my goals, and my own work schedule, right? Even if it was just in the evenings or the weekend. Wow, what a man, you go back as a green, as a melancholic, looking back. See, now we get back into me saying that the pain of regrets as a green melancholic, right? The turmoils of being a green melancholic. Your personal brand is your reputation, is what I'm saying today. Somehow, take the time to develop a strong online presence and build relationships with other professionals in your industry. Start by a little card. Nowadays, you just get a website. Once you start, there was an ad I seen the other day that said, all you need is an LLC. Once that you create that LLC, then your mind starts going to say, well, I'm going to start doing this, right? And next thing you know, you're doing it on your weekends, every Saturday and Sunday, right? You're building your business until your side hustle becomes your main income stream. Building my own personal brand in my 20s. Number 3, I'm going to be moving on to this one is rejection, right? And some of the phases of rejection, being told this when I'm in my 20s. Because our brains are wired to take rejection personally, it's easy for salespeople to personally feel attacked when prospects decline your offer. However, separating oneself from the rejected offer prevents emotional spiraling. And what it means is when we get into that spiraling things, what did I do wrong? Oh, they rejected me. Why did they reject? That type of spiraling. So it's very crucial to reinforce that prospects reject offers, not salespeople themselves. And I would have asked a lot more. If I would have learned this in my 20s, man, I would have asked a lot more. I'd get the rejection out of the way. I would have dialed more. I would have shook a lot of more hands. I would have gone to a lot more networking events. I would have probably even dialed harder on those shit jobs that I had. The first step is acknowledging that prospecting and sales does contain rejection. Same thing with a lot of sports and other industries. One may have a product or a service, but the target audience may be looking for just something slightly, just a little different for them. Just like football, right? If you play football, you're going to get hit. You can't go into football and hockey and go home complaining that you got banged up and bruises on it, right? Studies show that 60% of customers say no 4 times before saying yes. Isn't it interesting about us and our humanity and stuff? When someone approaches us, we usually say no, right? I remember months ago, I asked for a jump. It was in a parking lot at the shopping center, and my car didn't start. So I asked for a jump. Everyone said no. Everyone was like, no, no, no. So everyone, I think, automatically has that, no, leave me alone, until you start dialing in. I remember the cold, freezing winters of door-to-door sales. Doors slammed in my face, dogs chasing me down the streets, gym goons beefed up on roids threatening to beat the shit out of me, all because of rejection. Have this whole sales process of getting something, sold in this life. Rejections can be data points rather than personal reflections. I like that one. It's like data points. What was the client looking for? What about the product didn't they like? Why did they decide to go with this and not that one? So sort of reframing negative experiences through a lens of growth, right? How can I improve? Or reframing this. Something happened to us, but now we just reframe it as quick as possible, as fun as possible, right? Salespeople can reframe rejection and accelerate their improvements. Was the offer misaligned to the prospect's current needs? Did the outreach, maybe it lacked a little adequate research in the pain points? Are positioning and messaging optimized based on the past rejections? What skills can be developed to improve our conversations with the clients over and over and over? Ooh, I should have said this. I could, right? We're just jotting down how we can connect better with our communication and to the 4 chambers of the heart. With consistent reframing, salespeople like you and myself can expect a lot of rejection, but we rationalize it as fuel for rapid development rather than failure. Number 4, the hard way is actually the toughest way. Have you ever noticed that in life? The hard way is always the toughest way. When we're battling things and we're going uphill, we're paddling our boat up against the stream of things. We'll also often see this in, I'd say, a work environment where it's like lifting, right? It's like the physical, maybe construction worker, the hard way, instead of using pulleys and levers and things like that. So number 4, the hard way is often the toughest way. Ever notice why everyone's pitching the hard way in sales? I don't get it. In social media, that's all you see nowadays on all the different platforms is sell this way and overcoming objections. We have this script. This script works for this like this. Our clients made this kind of money just using them. They'll hold up, right? And they'll hold up just one script and just by using this one script. The hard way of pitching your product, bombarding your clients with all this and that of your product, the history, how long it took to make, and then going hours and hours of how many testimonials you have. Then being so pushy and salesy by memorizing your canned pitches, one-liners, overcoming objections with your clever and canned rebuttals to defeat your opponent and win the sale, in fact, is the toughest way to make a sale. But this is all you hear about the last year, the last few years, even the last 10 years. Sell the hard way. Memorize this script. You're right. When you're putting something together, if you hear a no, you're going to say this. You hear another no, say this, 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 and this. But all these social media channels are pushing the hard way. Don't actually know that the tough way should go back to this, right? The hard way. That's how I designed this for connected sales years ago. The hard way, right? The easy way, connecting to the heart. To look back and say, amazing, I missed the full potential life, clients, prospects, customers could have given fully, abundantly if I would have dialed into their heart more before meeting Bob, right? In my sales career, be pushy, memorize these. I remember there was books and books, not nowadays. I think everyone has it easy nowadays. Talk about 20 years ago when you just have a book and stacks and stacks. If I could only dialed into their heart more and understood their core personality, related to their emotional wants, their needs, their desires, and their aspirations. And I always say here on Connected Sales, start with a connection, not with a description. Number 5, a win is not a win. Okay, I know this might be new for you right now, okay, but hey, listen in. If I would have known this when I was in my 20s about sales, my goodness. Oh, wow. As far as going back, can we go back in time? Does anybody have a time machine? A win is not a win. This is so good. This is so good. It's such a big part of every aspect of life. And I wish someone would have told me about sales in my 20s. I proudly work with a few multi-million-dollar companies, and they never, ever, 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 ever go outside of their customer base to market, to advertise, and to sell to. I even seen their P&L statements. 0 advertising spent. All their business is a repeat customers. Over the last 10 years, they've been able to add different services, upscale their trainings, and enhance their programs so well that they understand the connected sales method. And the method is a buyer, is a buyer, is a buyer, is a buyer. It's so refreshing to work with organizations because they really dial in to their customers and build successful programs to coach and mentor their customers through. What I mean here with number 5 is when you make a sale, a win, do everything you can to keep that customer for life. And as we mentioned before, we have to plot out and build up your sales funnel, upsells, upgrades, add-ons, cross-sales, family referrals, renewals. Aha! Now you're getting it. You have to do the complete opposite of what everyone else is doing. No follow-ups, no check-ins, no 7-day journeys, no starting guides, no sit-downs, no talks, no family invites, no goals or targets for the next 30 days or 1 year. But yet they waste hundreds, if not even thousands, on Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads trying to find what? A new customer, a new client. when the diamonds are right before their eyes, ready, waiting, hell, even overly eager. These companies continue to grow all by dialing into their current customers. It's a big part of every aspect of life. When you find a friend, a lover, a hobby, a passion, don't throw thousands out the door seeking the new shiny object. Wow, we can cover a lot here, and I'm going to give you a bonus and give you six, not just five. I really believe if I would have been given number 6 in my 20s on sales, I'd be in a more abundant, successful position in life by far. In magnitudes, I couldn't even, I wouldn't be able to understand. So when I was creating this podcast, I overlooked this one, but how huge some of the things, almost like the diamonds we were just talking about when we were digging for diamonds and stuff and spending, why spend thousands on advertising when the diamonds and the gold mines are right in front of us inside of our own client base. So before I get into number 6, do me a huge favor right now. Go down below, click the link below to connect, communicate, and close more sales with no objections or rebuttals, so you get a heck of a lot more yeses and get your very own free cheat sheet on how to stop being salesy, selling with your brain, and start dialing in and connecting with your heart more. So you get a hell of a lot more yeses. This will move you in many ways in and throughout your life. Number 6 is so big, so empowering. Who are you surrounding yourself with? I wish somebody would have told me this when I was younger in sales, right? Who are you surrounding yourself with? Nowadays, I'll always take on a project, but I'll say, who's the best? And I need their skills, I need their habits, I need their disciplines. And especially sometimes even their processes on that, because I want to model that, and so we can be successful at the same pace or even faster pace, right? So I should have probably even put this as number 1 or number 2. For years I battled bumper to bumper traffic just to get to a sales job that was toxic. It was dysfunctional. It was destructive work environment, and it all was very, very it was rough. It was emotionally, physically, it's all tuned to demanding. And then I come home to a very non-supportive family. They couldn't really move or uplift me, and didn't really have the means to scale up my life. So for the majority, they settled for mediocrity, watching TV, eating chips and cola, never really, hitting the gym, never setting any goals or challenges, putting something on the calendar to challenge them and work for, in 5 months or 6 months. Number 6 is packed with just looking back and in regrets, but how powerful this is for you guys watching and listening, tuning in to the Connected Sales, podcast today. If I were in my 20s, I would have put myself in or created my own inner circle of sales geniuses. Back then there was Barnes and Nobles, and you could do little groups at Barnes and Nobles, like on a Tuesday night, Saturday night. There was little libraries too. You could do little group sessions. Nowadays it's Facebook groups. But somewhere where I would have created my own circle of sales geniuses, especially being in Los Angeles, it was a mecca, right? You go to Santa Monica, you go, down to San Dimas, you go up to Azusa and Pasadena and Glendale. So it was a mecca of you could drive anywhere, probably put together a sales group that everyone liked to sell, but everyone maybe bouncing off ideas, how to sell better, how to connect better, how to present better, build confidence, right? How to speak better, and things like that. How to pitch your prices without any ums, uhs, and fumbling around, right? Or nervousness, wherever that would have been, right? That would have been amazing. It would have been a catapult into my career. Group that's instead of selling $100 things, they could scale up and sell $1 million things. How do we scale up and start selling to millionaires and billionaires, right? That don't really care like about money. There's not too many objections, right? And things like that. So how can you keep expanding? It would be a group, 50 people, 100 people. Just like this group in Connected Sales. How do we expand and grow? How do we enjoy life more, enjoy selling? Or if you make $100,000, they're encouraging to make even more, right? 10 times that, right? Make $1 million. Challenge yourself. Put $1 million on. Put a deadline date on it. So my family's built around like paychecks, no vacations, long hours, right? It wasn't until getting into Brian Tracy and Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad books and seminars that I started to do this different shift of who I could surround myself with. I started understanding the law of five. Who you surround yourself, who you surround yourself with, who you're becoming. Everyone says that same thing. Find a new group if you can, right? I urge you, right? Find a new group, just like this one, Connected Sales, something that's going to motivate you, encourage you to be your best. A new community, new friends that can say, here's where we are right here, and you know what? That's okay. But here's where we'll be tomorrow and in 10 years. For me, I'm always trying to develop new groups that I can get into and that I can be inspired by to grow inside of. And like I said, with my family, blue collar jobs, paychecks, no family vacations, no getaways, stuck in their hours, stuck in traffic, going to jobs they hate. I call them shit jobs. And I look back on all the jobs that I had. There are jobs that were horrible. I didn't enjoy them. I didn't like them. I urge you to find a new group for yourself. Do it for yourself, for your inner being. I always say if you fix yourself and you work on yourself, right, things blossom and explode and get so much more beautiful. I hope these Connected Sales, 5 things I wish I learned about sales in my 20s. I gave you a bonus one, number 6, who you're surrounded by. Why, that's a big, huge one. Big number 6 is a bonus one. Surrounding yourself, and how do you get into a different group that can inspire you to grow another level that you didn't even think you can get to. All right, so I hope these insights can elevate your sales progress to new heights and equip yourself with the knowledge you need to succeed in the beautifully competitive world of sales. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more expert tips and strategies. Comment below any questions you may have or your worries, your fears, your uncomfortabilities, and your sales processes. And we'll be sure to make sure that we design some of our podcasts for those upcoming subjects, in the Connected Sales podcast. Till then, connect to the heart more so you communicate in the same key and frequency, so you close with no objections or rebuttals, so you get a hell of a